Deborah, Mary, Tony, Garcia, Johnny, Heike, Deborah, Nina, Marianne, and there's another screen that I haven't seen. So anyway, you think I should start now?
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Lam.
Hello and welcome everybody to this month's forum. I'm really excited. It's like a home. I create all these programs and I love to talk about it. I just remember before the COVID, I was visiting Chile for the first time. It's a beautiful country. And at the beach, my friend was taking me on the beach, and someone came up to me and said, hey, are you Dr. Lam? And this happened to me everywhere when I sit in the, go in the aeroplane, guys sit next to me. When I go to custom, even USA Customs, I met the custom. Usually they're very not so friendly, but there are people who actually know me and they're really friendly. So it's amazing how our programs work. It really works because you reach millions of people, and you probably met people along the way somewhere. About everywhere I go, people talk to me about how much their life has improved. And of course, you know, I didn't do any work. You guys did all the work. The instructors anyway, and the master trainers, senior trainers. So it has to work because like millions of people do it, enjoyed it. But also, as you know, more than 35 medical studies has shown how it works. That's why governments around the world, especially USA governments, has funded it, supported. They are totally, we created 12 programs. Interestingly, 6 of them are about a group of medical conditions. The other 6 were for beginners in different populations. So I'm going to talk about how they all work and what's the key behind it and what they are. But I guess the most important thing is how does it really work? And of course, you all know, I know anyway, that's how I created this program. Because I have arthritis when I was 13, and that brought me to learn Tai Chi when I graduated from medicine. And now I just turned 76, and I'm still just as flexible, and I feel just as strong, apart from a bit more stress, worry about people I care about. But apart from that, I feel well and healthy. I have a guy, I introduced him, his name is Phil, but not the Philip here, but it's another Phil. Phil was, well, I haven't seen him for many years now, since I retired from medicine 11 years ago. But he was my patient. He's about the same height as me, was born in the same year and same date. So I told people he's my twin brother. The only thing is, he's white, I'm yellow, so not quite my twin brother. And he had arthritis in his late 30s, and by the 50s he was practically crippled and not really able to do anything. And so I felt so fortunate, and I can attribute all to my Tai Chi, and that is why I started the program, Tai Chi for Arthritis, because it's very personal. It works for me, and certainly you all have experience to work. And there's so many reasons how we work. It's like we know any activities, especially a good exercise that involves the whole body, is going to be beneficial for us. Walking, moving around, all activities, no doubt, are going to get us healthier. So Tai Chi is an activity, and it involves every joint, every muscles, a really good general activity. So just doing that, just moving around mindlessly without doing the right thing, it will still be good for you. However, Tai Chi is a lot more than that. We also know being mindful. There's so much study on mindfulness, how it actually even improve the chromosomes, the epigenetic chromosome makeups. So improve our lifespan and health. Of course, Tai Chi is a mindful exercise. The beauty of it is sometimes it's so challenging to be mindful when you're doing meditation or other types of mindfulness. But with Tai Chi, all you have to do is follow that principle. And we're going to try it in a minute, even though you have tried it. It's, that's the thing about Tai Chi principle. Even though they seem simple and we've done it, but for me, each time I practice it, I felt kind of the deeper understanding. And so I'm going to get you all to join me in a minute. But the mindfulness with Tai Chi, it's almost like an intrinsic work with it. When you do your Tai Chi without any effort, it becomes mindful of what we're doing, and you get the benefit in such a simple way. And of course, the concept of Qi, the life energy, is really the key of Tai Chi's magic. That was created, yes, to bring more Qi in us, that life energy. That once you start thinking of Qi not as something mysterious, just as something naturally we have, then you can feel it. The days when you feel good, when things are going well, when you done your Tai Chi, did a good form of Tai Chi, you can feel within you that life energy. You're here, you're living here more real. And that is one way to look at Qi. And of course, you can feel that as your Tai Chi is more following the principles. So that's how we work. And of course, I mean, there are studies, and I just want to recommend to you, if you teach or if you're interested, most of those studies that I mentioned, more than 35 studies, are posted on the website, on Tai Chi for Health website, and you can look at the reference and you can get a full study when you go online. The world's biggest study of older adults in the real life, in the community, with 702 subjects, which is a huge study, the world's biggest, is funded by New South Wales Health Department. And as you know, that study from Sydney was one of the key reasons why CDA supported us. The other study done by University of North Carolina with 354 subjects, which is the biggest study with people with arthritis. And it's a USA study that shows incredibly within 8 weeks, people were able to do more things. They got less pain from arthritis, and they have better balance. And that is probably the other study that pushed CDC to support us, because American governments take more emphasis, more value on American studies. Even though I think Australian studies are very high standard too. But nonetheless, that is a great study, 8 weeks, is incredible. So really, the Qi, the mind, body, the exercise, there's a lot more than that. There's one thing that I realized after I gave a talk with the Harvard University's Science for Tai Chi and Qigong conference, that the thought comes to me, hey, there is one very powerful reason why Tai Chi for Health program works. It's the teaching system, the way we teach. If you think about the stepwise progressive teaching method, which is all our instructors are trained for, it starts with respecting, listening to the participants. And then you take people one step at a time, build a foundation, and then improve on that. So then you make people feel confident in themselves. You know why I never realized it's such an important part how it works? Because this is what I did as a doctor. I love how the mind works. So I get a lot of patients who come to see me for their mental conditions, and some of them say to me, when I have to refer them to a psychologist or psychiatrist, some of them come back and say, hey, Dr. Lam, I'd rather talk to you, it's more helpful. So that is how I learn. I'm trained to, of course, as a doctor, to respect patients, to listen to them, and then help them to build confidence one step at a time. And the way we teach, that is why so many people come to do Tai Chi for health, because we are not teaching like many other so-called traditional, right? There are a lot of traditional teachers who teach intuitively in a learner-friendly way, but not most that I know of. And I met a lot of traditional teachers. They didn't think teaching method is important, which actually even myself didn't realize how powerful is the teaching method. The way we share is a form of therapy, it's a form of helping people to build their confidence. And that is a big part of how Tai Chi for Health works. And of course, there's many other circumstances. Your friend do Tai Chi for health, and they get friendship, getting together to part of the Tai Chi community. All these are important part of how people get better. So when I go back to the end of the day, it really goes back to the Tai Chi principle. The Tai Chi principle show us how to listen to incoming force, how to appreciate another person, how to respect others. So I'm going to assume most of you know about the Tai Chi principle, the three categories I talk about, but if you don't, certainly it will be in just about every program I teach. So I'm going to get you to join me to just feel the principles. Then you really can feel how it works. So you can do this sitting down. You can do this certainly like me, standing up. And we just start with a warm-up exercise and a couple of movements. And then by doing it and feeling it, I'm hoping that you can even have a more deeper appreciation of how Tai Chi for Health program works. If Evan, can you make me a bit bigger so I can see myself? Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to start with the warm-up exercises first, because the warm-up exercise also follow Tai Chi principle. We're going to start with just walking around. If you're sitting down there, give yourself a shake and just think of we're going to enjoy this exercise, this Tai Chi we're going to do, and then walking around to just loosen up, make your blood flow a little bit better, and then we're going to start the warm-up exercises. The first thing was to think you're standing tall, but not tense. Imagine there's a force from your chin to the top of the head, and gently lift it up. And allow your joints to just gently stretch within itself, but not tense. Then breathing in, moving slowly and smoothly, and just feel your hands moving against air. Feel the gentle pressure of the air around you. Breathing out and slowly, slowly bend down. Feel the smoothness and the slowness. And keeping your body upright. forgives me. So when you're standing upright, your chi flow better. Your back stabilizer becomes stronger. Your body, you feel better. You got more space in the lung. And then the next, we're going to use your dantian, so being mindful, connecting the inside of the body to your hands. And again, slowly, smoothly. Feeling that when you move slowly and smoothly, without thinking of being mindful, you are being mindful, which just means you know you are here now and not thinking about things that worries you, not thinking about your shopping or your arguments with your friends. And there was a book I read somewhere. It says that usually we live our life without being mindful, rush here, rush there. And when you're really here, roll your shoulder, just being here in real time. And you can be, if you can be mindful twice as often as before you do Tai Chi, then being mindful, being here now, is where we really live our life. So in a way, being mindful make you live twice as long. And study actually show that not only being mindful improve your telomere, which is the thing at the end of the chromosome that shorten as we grow. And apparently, mindfulness is shown to slow down that growth, which means that elongate our lifespan. Well, there's a big study on Tai Chi people who do Tai Chi regularly 3 years compared to the normal people, other people that's match, age, sex, similar habit, that sort of thing. And they compare these people, and then they study their chromosomes. That's a really expensive study. That's done by the Melbourne University. There's a department who's Australia's #1 laboratory in looking at the epigenetic factors, the chromosomes. And they were found the people who do regular Tai Chi compared to the other group of people, hundreds of subjects they went through, they have better epigenetics, which means that the chromosome, like the genetic factors, actually improve with Tai Chi. That's an amazing study. All these studies are the reference and all that on our website. If you're interested, you can't find it, just email me. It's just amazing how Tai Chi work even affect the chromosomes in cellular level, not just stronger muscles and less arthritis pain and better quality of life. Oh, okay, so I will go to the next exercise. We're going to open up the joints, gently stretch the joints from within, and that allow your joint to song, and you can feel as though there's some warmness in your palm, because when you song, your chi flows better. And it's a good feeling, even if you don't feel warmness. If you feel good, that generally speaking, that means your chi has grown. Then we're going to do the next. And as you stretch, breathe out, contract your pelvic floor muscle. Use the dantian breathing. Breathing out as you stretch, contract the pelvic floor muscles. breathing in, expand your lower abdomen, and out. And just feel a gentle resistance as you move. Okay, now we're going to do the next. Turn using your dantian to direct your movements and turn to the other side. If you can, imagine your dantian move this ball in your hands. And when you're engaged in doing this, allow your movements to be slow, smooth, continuous. Allow your joint to be open. Allow your body to be upright. You have to be mindful. You don't need any special equipment or special method. Just do this, and you will feel mindful. You feel more alive. Now, then we'll do the hip. I'll do mirror image to you. Doesn't matter which side you use, but you can do. And this is really good for your balance. And of course, when you are physically balanced, and when you are being mindful of your balance, you are mentally more balanced as well. Almost all these are shown by studies. How when people are physically more balanced, they're mentally more balanced. And likewise, when they're mentally more balanced, they're physically more balanced too. And for those who haven't done our 1, 2, 3 warm-up exercise before, it is again with any program you subscribe. And I'm talking about the 12 Tai Chi for Health programs. They all have the same warm-up exercise, and they all have a section that I talk about how the key principle of Tai Chi, the essential principle of Tai Chi, grow your Chi, allow you to gain that benefit, that health benefit. And notice you can do this sitting down as well. Okay, so have a little shake. So I used to be less patient in my younger days, and I certainly started with the normal one exercise in other exercise programs, and I found that really boring. So that's why I created with our colleagues the 1, 2, 3 warm-up exercises, and we incorporate Tai Chi principle into it. And that is one that make the program work, is the Tai Chi principles. It has so much layer of depth that even though I do the warm-up every day, I do Tai Chi every day, and just about every Tai Chi for Health program has open and close. I don't get bored at all. There's something more inside. Make me feel really here, really mindful. Also make me feel a really nice feeling, a warmness, a life energy within your hands. So if you'd like to join me, keep your body upright. Bend your knees. If you're sitting down, keep your body upright. And just feel your dantian, just below your belly button. And just think as you breathe in, gently, gently expand this dantian. When you breathe out, gently, gently contract your pelvic floor muscle. And then apply that to open, close. Breathing in. And throughout every Tai Chi movements, especially the Tai Chi for health movements, waving hands, brushing knee, every movement is connected with the breathing. And when you understand the breathing, understand how it expands the down breathing, will expand the lung capacity, open up, strengthen the back, stabilize the muscles, and how this improve the health. And you will notice every Tai Chi for health. I just get you to do some little cool down. Before we sit down, you will know all Tai Chi for health programs had the open, close, and all the other movements are all coordinated with the breathing, starting with warm up into the cooling down. And each program has its special emphasis. So of the 12 Tai Chi for Health programs, I will send you a list later, but you can also see it on our website. The sixth one that relate to conditions, and the other 6 that is more for people more generally, but different types of people. They all can be learned by anybody, and they all would bring better health to you as you see, as it's shown, as you feel it. And they really, most of them are quite easy to learn. But the Tai Chi for Arthritis was the first program that have emphasis on healing and people with a weakening condition, because when you got arthritis, you might not be able to grow muscles, and you generally can be a little weaker. But again, it can be used by anyone, and certainly people with arthritis are known. Study has shown they're more likely to fall, especially when they get older. And so intrinsically, the Tai Chi was good for balance, but we put more emphasis on moving forward, moving backwards, moving sideways to prevent fall. And that's why later on we changed the name to Tai Chi for Arthritis and Fall Prevention, which again is proven by the world's biggest study in the older adults in the community to reduce the rate of falling. And of course, just because you're young doesn't mean you can't fall. That's an interesting study. That studied 5,000 pregnant ladies, and they found that pregnancy increased the rate of falling, and they can quite hurt themselves. And that was a little surprising to me, but I remember I do see patients who did that. And the Tai Chi would be really good to prevent falls for a pregnant woman. So after that, Tai Chi for diabetes, again, it's good for everybody, but diabetes have a wider range of physical activity. So we have tuned it in such a way that's a wider range of physical exertion, as well as we use the Chinese traditional medical theory to put more emphasis in diabetes-related meridians. I also practice acupuncture, even though I was a family physician. I'm a Western trained as well as Eastern trained physicians before I retired. On that, I did practice medicine for more than 40 years, and I do use my understanding of Eastern, Western medicine to analyze Tai Chi movement, to analyze what makes the Tai Chi work for you. And certainly the studies help to feedback what it was. And that's why Tai Chi for Health programs are so effective. And then Tai Chi for osteoporosis use a lot of study on falls prevention, even more in the walking back yang style and walking forwards and the one leg kick. Then it goes to Tai Chi for rehabilitation, which I think it's a really beautiful concept of 3 movements, and yet it helps people to recover from even just stressful days, since it's so simple to do, to really, really serious conditions. I can tell you, I have friends, people I know well, who actually was really, really sick, and they were able to use the rehabilitation to help them recover almost magically. So that's for the Tai Chi for heart conditions, Tai Chi for memories. Again, those 2 I used acupuncture theory to add the acupuncture kind of way to increase the chi in that. And again, anyone can learn it, but it does more tuned towards it. And so that's the 6 Tai Chi with a name of the condition, but really it's a whole group of conditions. And then the other 6 is Tai Chi for beginners, Tai Chi for life. It's something that's like anybody can really start working on. And Tai Chi for energy has special appeal to people who want something a little more challenging, a little bit more delivering force. Maybe younger people find it more attractive, but definitely it's not age limited. I do it, and many people who are older than me does it too. So there's 6 Qigong for health, and what else? Pat, I think I missed one.
Did you mention heart conditions?
Yes, I did. That is one of the 6 with the special conditions, and then Tai Chi beginner, Tai Chi for life, Qigong for health, Tai Chi for kids, Tai Chi at work, and yeah. So again, Tai Chi at work was aimed at people who sort of in the desk and they can still do that exercise. Really good for their wrist, finger when they do a lot of typing. So every Tai Chi for Health program is good for health, and they're all designed to be relatively safe. But it's just like, you know, you go out for Chinese food, Indian food, English food, and so on. They all can be great food if you like it, but there's a different flavor. I think it's fun to suit different people, different flavor. So that is all the program work in a similar way, but because it suit different flavors, so our team chose the more appropriate movements, put it together in a most effective way for that group of people. It's like if you have a tailor-made shirt, it just fit a bit better and you look a little sharper. But a shirt still make you look good anyway. So all the Tai Chi for Health programs are good for everybody, but those are the key principles how it works. And I would love to hear questions, or Pat or Jocelyn or anyone like to add more to it, please do.
So a good starting place as to how they work is looking at these concepts and the principles, and the way that you talked about a principle with each warm-up might be an idea to use in class, although I know I've heard you say before, don't try to do all of that at once in a beginner, when you have new participants who are still getting used to it.
Pat,
Listening
I
to
do
people,
that.
yeah.
I do that as well in classes, and I just focus on one principle each class. Or, depending, sometimes if it's, initial class and we aren't doing a lot of other movements, I might go through them again, seated, and use a different focus principle on each one, so that they can experience it in their body and in their mind.
Yeah, that sounds great. I found out that you can, and maybe you all knew this for a long time, but I guess I found it out in the classroom when I was teaching, but you can use dry erase marker on a mirror and it erases right off. So when I rotate into places where I teach, sometimes we do the same principle for that month because the classes tend to be scheduled one per week. And I'll write across the mirror, moving against an invisible force, or checking out posture, or whatever the highlight is. And I'll write it across the top of the mirror just as a little extra reminder. And I teach at night at a local high school in the dance room. And last week when I went to that class, the dance teacher was writing she had the same thing. It was having to do with dance, and I'll get it wrong if I try to quote her because it was different. It was a dance theory, but that's what she had written across the mirror in her dry erase marker. So I had to laugh. I thought I had an original idea, but I guess that everybody else had known it longer than me, perhaps. But it's a way that people can keep their focus. I find it works really well when I have a variety of levels in the class. And the people who are still just trying to coordinate and keep their right and their left straightened out. I was there once too, and I couldn't think about anything else. For those people, they don't need too many verbal reminders. It'll distract them. But for the people who are a little deeper and have been doing repetitions of movements for a while, it's something else that they can peak their energy with and their mental juices.
Yes, Pat, that's really good. Very much so. Our teaching method is to listen to the incoming force. And what I did was, of course, for the occasion, I mentioned different things, but really we teach one thing at a time. Nina, you have something to say? Go ahead.
One of the things that I find very magical about the Tai Chi for Health Institute, the health programs, is that they're so accessible for folks because they're short and they're symmetrical. And that seems to really resonate to beginners. It really makes it much easier. In addition to everything else that you said about the stepwise method and the principles, just the choreography is fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. And that's absolutely, part of the things. That's why it takes us so long to create a program. Marian?
Yeah, this is just a teaching tip, and I know I'm not the only one that does this, but I've found a really effective way to teach the principles is to use rubber ducks. I have a box of rubber ducks, and I have the students put them on their head and do the form or do the warm-ups. And if you're not moving smoothly and continuously, if your posture's not upright, if your joints are not relaxed, if you're not transferring weight properly, if you're not mindful, the ducks fall off. And people have told me they get it after they do the ducks. I had one class where I had several men. I had more men than women in the class, actually. I was a little bit nervous about using the ducks because they're kind of cute and everything. And one of the guys, after we did that, just stopped and he said, "That was absolutely awesome. I learned more about Tai Chi from doing those ducks than anything else that you've done so far."
Yeah, Marianne, that's really good. No wonder they must be one of your people. Somebody gave me a rubber duck one of the workshops. Now, there is a question who write to me before. That is a really good question from Anton about Tai Chi is known to improve immunity, and there are some people who were having chemotherapy or other treatments that they were having to use medication that cut down your immunity. So is Tai Chi fighting against it? So my answer is Tai Chi actually, immunity is a huge subject. There's so many things in the body, in the mind, so many things that's related to our immunity. And the Tai Chi way of improving immunity is really working from inside, improve your life energies and improve the cardiovascular condition, so blood flow better. And so therefore, I don't think it contradicts the medical treatment. In fact, it complements very, very well. I know many doctors, especially the oncologists, who are the specialists on cancer, who use those medications, rheumatologists. I know a lot of rheumatologists who also use the drugs that lower immunity, like the autoimmune disease, that the body start fighting itself. Then often the rheumatologists use drugs that lower your body immunity. All those rheumatology I know of recommend Tai Chi because they understand it's working in different way. It's giving it inner strength from inside. So it actually helps medical treatment. It doesn't harm it, to the best of my knowledge. I guess I'm sort of unique to say that, being a Western, Eastern doctor and also knows a bit about Qi and Tai Chi. So as far as I know, absolutely, it's complementary. It doesn't go against it. Jocelyn, you want to say something?
Yes, I just think it would be interesting if you commented a bit on why you chose certain postures for different Tai Chi for Health programs.
Absolutely. Do you all have the rest of the day to stay with me? Or the rest of the night? It's for example, Tai Chi for arthritis, we work really hard to look at each movement and how they combine and what's the combined effect. And then we tried it out with people with arthritis. And of course, I tried it out myself and with the team. And by the time we have it all together and put it down, that takes nearly 2 years for the program. It's so simple, it takes like 2 minutes to finish, but the thought and the energy going inside it is quite a lot. And we want something that is really easy to learn and really hit Tai Chi at the core, really improve the Qi and engage the mind easily without a lot of effort. We want it to be especially healing, and that's why we found Mr. Sung, the Sung style is so ingenious that we have used Sung style for that, for arthritis and falls prevention. With other programs, again, we look at the population, the feature, where we want to work with, and then we tried it out, talk about it, and eventually look at the studies. For example, Tai Chi for osteoporosis. At that time, there was a few good studies with Yang style Tai Chi, and that's why we have the Yang style repulse monkey. And so we're trying to choose the movement that to put together which make Tai Chi sense. You can't just put few movement together. You got to have the Tai Chi feeling, warming out, and slowly build up the Qi, and then slowly cooling down. And so to fulfill all those requirements, just take a bit of work and thinking, and that's how we come up with each program of each movement. But we always have open and close everywhere. Was it so magical?
Dr. Lam, he asked, so it kind of branches into how you pick the movements and all, but somebody asked, would there be a Tai Chi for Parkinson's? And I did put in the chat, I asked you that exact question a few years ago. So I put in the chat that you had answered it for me then to say, Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention has everything. If I designed it, it would be that, it would come out the same. So at that time, you did not anticipate a separate program for Tai Chi, for people with Parkinson's. So is that still true, or has anything changed? Because there seems to be a lot of interest in Parkinson's.
Thank you, Pat. And that is a question, one of the most asked questions. And remember, he asked that. The other person who asked me that was Samuel Chong, associate professor from Korean. And his specialty is people with Parkinson's and MS. And he is in charge of the biggest exercise laboratory and center in Korea. Korea is a big country. I mean, in terms of population. And they have 500 patients there all the time. They change, of course, as you go. And a lot of them have Parkinson's and MS. And Samuel is in charge of that. And he wanted me to create Tai Chi for Parkinson's. And we talked for a long time, worked for a long time. And we came back with the same conclusion as you say, Pat, is that Tai Chi for arthritis is good for a group of conditions. And Parkinson's just works so well. Also, people with MS. And we have found really good results too over the years that people with Parkinson's. I have one guy who writes to me, he had Parkinson's, and one of his pride and joy, I mean, everyone has something that's important to your life. For this person, this man, he go to church every Sunday, and you know, when you go to church at the end of the service, there's a name for them. They bring a plate to ask you to contribute. I don't know. There's a name for these people. So they walk around to it, and then you put your money in if you want to. And that's his job for years, and he's so proud of doing that job. And Parkinson stopped him. After he did Tai Chi, after a few months, he was able to go back to do this work. And for him, that was like so precious. Yeah, but yes. So it's still true, Pat. I still not think, I don't know if I need to create any other programs, but certainly I don't think we will have any reason to create Tai Chi for Parkinson. But Helge, you have hands up.
Yeah, I work with several Parkinson's people, one of them for 4.5 years now. And I started them off with Tai Chi for memory, because Parkinson's affects the brain, and Tai Chi for memory, as we learned from you, is for every brain condition. So I found it really, really effective, because there is also, it seems to really appeal to people who have Parkinson's. There's the balance in there. There is, all the cross alignments and all of that. And it's a short form. So, success comes really easily. And then I went on, with the people I work for longer. Then I went on to Tai Chi for arthritis from that. And, like you, Dr. Lam, I find that people who do Tai Chi, I've been thanked, by the partners saying, oh, my husband would be in a wheelchair now, or my husband would have had to move off Waiheke Island, I live on an island, to Auckland, to medical facilities. Tai Chi gave him 4.5 years on the island that he wouldn't have been able to do. So, what you are creating is far-reaching, as you know. So thank you. But yeah, Tai Chi for memory really worked well as a beginner's entry into it.
Thank you, Helga. I think, well, of course, I'm sure it's us. Like, you guys did all the hard work, and I think to be getting the credit, but actually I'm just representing everybody. That it's your work that makes the difference. Lorraine?
Hi, everyone. I just want to join at this point about Tai Chi for Parkinson's. I find that a very, very good program as a beginner's program, and a very good program for the very old, like in residential aged care. And then I had a feedback from the youngest person, maybe in his 30s or 40s, He came as a support worker for another person. And he said to me at the end of our 8-week term last spring, summer, and he said the repetition of the movements, repeating it 3 times, he said he can remember it and internalize it a lot better. And these 2 persons came from another school, came from another Tai Chi tradition to join my class. I just thought I want to share that with you. I tend to want to use that repetition of 3 in the movements a bit more, sometimes even within other forms. I tend to maybe adopt that for a while until people internalize that. And I thought I want to share that with you.
Thank you, Lorraine. And just to let everybody know a secret that I do practice my Tai Chi every day. Well, 99% of the days. And I have a routine to many sets. And I go through all the Tai Chi for Health programs, the 12 programs that I mentioned at least once in my routine. And it's not boring. I do find by that repetition, by doing the same thing, there's something that I learn each time. It's really great to do it. Yeah.
Hi, Paul. I can testify, having MS for over 25, almost 30 years. And I think one of the first Tai Chi forms that I've done was Tai Chi for arthritis. And of course, a little bit out of balance at the beginning, more than 20 something years ago. And I found the form was so easy to do and would help my balance so much that I felt so confident that I just wanted to do more. So even for people, and now as a result of that, I teach people with MS, seated with MS. They stand at times, they sit, but just doing the Tai Chi for arthritis form has been very easy for them to follow and do. I just wanted to share that. Thank you for producing this form years ago that has done a lot even for people with MS.
Thank you, Tony. That's so nice. And really, there's another point too, that people like yourself and many other people who have some pain, like me too, I have arthritis, we're not happy we just go along with it. We want to do something for ourselves and motivate ourselves and get ourselves to do it. That itself is therapeutic as well, that positive mind. And of course, when you have a program that anyone can do, accessible, and they actually get benefit, that sort of in turn move it forward for people to continue practice. So you're a great example, and you use it to help many people, Tony. It's great. Well done. Do you think, Evan, we have time for meeting?
We might just need to keep wrapping up our conversation here and maybe take a picture. If there are a couple more comments that people want to share, Lorraine just raised her hand.
Yes, Dr. Lam, I just wonder whether you want to talk about the slow breathing, slow movements, and the vagus nerve. There was a question in the chat earlier on.
Sure. The slowness is actually so important. It's part of Tai Chi and really it's very good for mindfulness, training mindfulness. But it's also especially pertinent in the modern days where everything is so fast. We experience more things around us within a week than our ancestors within many years. And so we are sort of very nervous, move faster, and then we activate the sympathetic system, which then increase our blood pressure and cause more stress. The vagus nerve fire off. And so training ourselves to be slow and enjoy the slowness itself, activate the parasympathetic system, activate the healing progress, and also allow our mind to be more balanced. Because fast and slow, they're both important. Sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve are there for a reason. And if we overdo one, then we cause side effects. But if we have two balance, like yin and yang, then we end up with a more balanced and healthier person, body and mind. Yeah, so slowness have definitely a profound effect. But you need to make it interesting. So just being slow wouldn't last. The slowness got to have a reason, got to feel the chi flow better, make it feel better, then you want to do it.
Dr. Lam, you're getting so many happy birthday greetings in the chat. And I don't know if it's everybody's chat, but when I open it up, birthday cakes are sliding down the chat box. And it's all these birthday wishes for you. There's like tons of birthday cakes in the chat box now. So happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dr. Lam.
Thank you, Pat, and thank you, everybody. You know, I used to think that birthday is just one day of the year. Every day is just as precious, as important, and gradually, that sort of has to go, especially when you have kids. And the other thing is, my kids do complain that I celebrate my Chinese lunar calendar birthday, and they can never remember it because, well, they don't try hard enough, of course. But I want to honor my aunt who really make me who I am, and she always remember my birthday, and that also remind me to remember other people's birthday as much as I can. But the Google Calendar does help. So yeah, thank you again. It's nice to have so many of my friends who. Thank you.
So Dr. Lam, what would you like us to do for our photo this month?
We've got to do our open close.
Okay. It's great. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I have 2 screens, so I just want to make double check that we get everyone. So just hang on just a second. I'll do the second one in just a second. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Well, it's really nice talking to you and seeing many new people in the forum. That's wonderful. Do tell your friends about the forum. We work very hard, my team. I didn't introduce the team this time, but Evan, Pat, Ernie, Nuala and Ernie both stay up and stay late for the 2 zones to keep it consistent. And there's a lot of work behind the scene to put the forum together. We enjoyed it, but we also love to keep in touch with more people. And I will send the recording to you, and you're welcome to pass on that recording to your friends and ask them to join us as well. It's so nice to meet people from over the world and to see my friends. I feel that I do miss you with the pandemic, but I'm catching up with you. But it's so good to meet you once a month and to share ideas, share the positive energy. I'm sure if you ever read the thing about quantum energy, there's quantum energy is a new form of energy that's beyond what the normal conventional understanding of electricity and other energy. And apparently the study will show there are quantum energies that is so powerful that you can share through like different parts of the world. You know, there was a study where they have a group of people with intensive care suffering from the same condition, and they have two group of people who send their good wishes or pray for them from different denomination. So this is not like for one religion or the other, it's different denomination or just people sending good wishes. And they found that the group who didn't have good wishes sent to them compared to the people who, and the patient don't know the prayers or the sender don't know the person, they're actually significantly better in recovery. So that's blown my mind. The understanding of quantum energy was also used to explain acupuncture treatment, how it works. And again, I practiced acupuncture for 40 years and I didn't really understand. I still find it difficult to understand how that works. I know acupuncture works, but I still can't connect it to quantum energy. But I guess my point is there's things we don't know in this world. There's stuff that we don't know. But when we send good wishes to people, when we do Tai Chi with a peaceful, harmonious mind, it's got to be good. No matter how it works, it's got to be good for us and for everybody else. So, okay, I'm going to formally say goodbye to everybody, and then you're welcome to stay for a little while. Thank you. I see most of these join me with the exercise. That's nice. You know, Tai Chi is the art of doing, and if you're doing something, you get something out of it. But of course, it's also magical, and that is the principle. Principle is something that stays true no matter what. And I just think that such a seemingly simple principle has so many layers of depth. And those layers that can only be appreciated with regular practice. I think that's what's so fascinating to me about Tai Chi. Anton's very interested in Tai Chi is known to improve immunity. So there are people who have medications, drugs to reduce immunity, like people with autoimmune disease or under treatment of certain cancer, they take drugs to lower down your immunity. As you know, rheumatoid arthritis, for example, it is an autoimmune disease. Your body's immunological cells start attacking yourself, making a mistake. So that's why they use anti-immunity medication. So Anton's concern was, if Tai Chi improve your medication, are we fighting against those medications? So my answer is, it's actually because immunity is such a huge topic. There are so many things involved. For example, your heart function, your kidney function there, and of course there are different layers of immunity, different kinds of immunity cells, and so on. So in terms of Tai Chi, it works in enhancing the body from inside, internally, improving like your chi, your energy from within. So it will be complementary to those medication rather than against the medication. One of the best known example is I work with, of course, doctors, but a lot of doctors I work with are rheumatologists. Rheumatologists are people who specialize in arthritis. And a few forms of arthritic conditions are due to autoimmune disease, like rheumatoid, and they will prescribe drugs to cut down the immunity. And just about every rheumatologist I know are really happy to work with Tai Chi, and they recommend their patients to do Tai Chi because they understand it's a different system. And certainly our chair, Tai Chi for Health Institute, is a deputy dean of medicine in Singapore University. He's a professor in rheumatologist, and he certainly teach his patients Tai Chi, and have no problem with that Tai Chi being helping rather than fighting against it. Does that answer your question, Anton?
Yes. Yes, although we don't quite understand how is it complementary to the medication when it's colliding, in fact, isn't it?
Well,
you know what I mean?
When your body start attacking itself, it's not because your immunity actually improved, but there's something wrong with that system, the immunological system. Because, you know, every day our body generates wrong cells, cancer cells, and the immunology cells would find out a normal cell and eat them. So potentially every day we can have cancer cells in the body, but because it's clean up. So when your immunity is good, it stops you from getting cancer, and it also protects you. And when your body cells start attacking yourself, it's not a form of, in a way, the body immunity is weak because it's doing silly things, like your body start attacking yourself. Does that make sense? So
yes, so you are saying we are in fact helping our cells to improve, not to improve so much immunity, Tai Chi, I mean, but to improve the function of our cells.
Yes.
Is it correct?
It depends on how you define immunity.
Immunity is
One
too
way to look
general.
at-
Maybe it's too general term, immunity.
Right. The word immunity is too general. It's a very complex system. So, for example, again, I go back to rheumatic arthritis and other conditions. When the body, in a way, when the body cells start attacking ourselves, it's like a form of weakness. The system go wrong. Whereas Tai Chi build your system from inside, allow us to be stronger. And that is why it doesn't harm you, but rather help you to overcome.
Have I understood it correctly? If we correct our cells, then our cells can act well, even if our immunity is lower due to drugs. You know what I mean?
I think I understand what you mean, and my answer is yes. You can improve yourself even though you're taking a drug to lower down your immunity.
Then our cells would be able to resist the arthritis, even if the immunity is lower.
That gets really complicated because
Okay.
different arthritis, different autoimmune disease have a different system. So one thing is true, if you have inner strength, like your mind,
you can fight it.
You got better chance to fight it. Yes.
Yes, I understand. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, well, for example, a lot of people with rheumatoid arthritis, they got much better when they start doing Tai Chi, and they still take medication. So, you know, it helps. So you can use Western and Eastern help. Like I'm a Western doctor, and Tai Chi is just part of what we do. I still need to go see, now that I retire, I still need to go see the Western doctors for certain things.